Hey, Stoney here with a special episode of Mechabellum. The first game of the Dev vs. Pro Grand Finals that happened a few weeks ago was a 13-round non-stop slugfest between two very defensive players. Today, I've had the pleasure of interviewing the Dev vs. Pro champion, Dzemp, and the runner-up, Steelsane. We'll learn more about the thought process behind these two Mechabellum masters during that game, but also uncover tips and tricks that will improve your gameplay. Let's go. All right. Well, thank you for joining this interview. I actually posted this on the community and we had a few questions from the community. So I figured maybe we'll ask those questions first and we'll jump into the game. So I think the biggest question, and this is something I want to know myself, right now, both of you are sort of at the top of Mechabellum, right? You're both, I know Steel, he's been winning like 80% of the tournament for a while. And Dzemp, you are, what's your MMR now? Is like 2,200?
I got 2300 my Smurf account, and my main got 2100.
Nice. And Steels, what's your MMR right now?
I'm 2,100.
Nice. So right now you're really like you're at the top of Mechabellum. But what is keeping you coming back to play this game? Because I'm assuming you know all the strategies, all the tricks, all the tactics, yet you continue to play this game. Why is that? Maybe we'll start with Dzemp.
I will like a difference in last patches, new units, and how Berlike support any strategies in the game. Now standard little not strong like usually, but I think different strategies is and that's why I in the game.
Nice. And Steel?
Okay. I like to stream this game very much, and I feel like the game is very balanced.
And do you think it's balanced at the highest level, or is it balanced throughout the entire spectrum?
Talk about high level MMR. Just for me, it's balanced.
Nice. And what's currently both of your favorite unit?
Both favorite units, maybe marksmans. Last time it's marksman. Okay, close.
Yeah, and what about you, Zem?
My favorite unit is meeting point.
Nice. All right, so I'm gonna put up a stream and let's talk about this game. This, what is it, 13 round of Mechabellum at the Dev Pro Finals. Now, do note that we did have a few patch updates, so this replay is kind of broken. But I am going to just jump to the rounds to make sure that we're actually on the correct replay. I'm not going to do a in-depth discussion on every single round because that's 13 round and that's going to take until tomorrow. So we're not going to do that. I'm going to ask a few questions primarily just in the first 6 rounds, and we're going to skip through the 6 rounds. And then we're going to start on the 7th round because that's the round where that's when Dzemp started to turn around. He was at round 7. He was at 364 HP, and they start to turn around. But before we do that, not your favorite part, Steel, but very interesting for the audience, the community watching, because we're trying to figure out how the heck did that happen. But maybe we'll start with round 1. So before this game, the two of you played many times before. Was there any preparation that you had in your mind that you were thinking maybe this is the strategy that I'm going to try against your opponent?
I don't have special tactics versus Steel, but I know he never push. That's I can get my unit so deep.
Okay, what about you, Steel?
I don't have any specific strategies to versus against them. Of course, I have universal strategy against any opponents. I think.
Okay, so let's jump ahead a little bit. So I'm going to go to round 5. All right. So round 5, we have a unit drop. Melting point is offered. Melting point is chosen by both players. And then it was sold by both players. So my question is, right now the board is very symmetrical. Both players have essentially the same carry unit. We got Vulcan, we got Marksman. When we were looking at the unit drop in round 5, what's the thought process behind why did you choose Melting Point and why did you sell Melting Point in round 5? So I'm just going to bring that card up and I'm going to pause it right here. Ooh, you guys choose to so quickly. that was not even a thought. It's like, yeah, I see the unit. I don't want the unit. But just for the audience, let's see this one more time. I'm going to try to pause this.
It's just the cheapest one unit to get money now.
Okay, so it's purely for money purposes.
Sell him. Just to sell him because we already have snipers to kill Vulcans, and we have clear chaff, so Vulcan.
Okay.
And we don't need any melters.
All right. What about you, Dzemp?
If you see in round 4, I lost 1500 HP, and I need money right now. And why I sell Melting Point? Because he have a similar function like snipers, like marksmans. I don't need it, but I need money, and money right now.
We just can improve our strategy with money.
Okay. Now, another thing that was very interesting. So in round 5, okay, so we skipped the Melting Point. There was a change in the way that you kind of built your board. So I'm going to speed this up just a little bit. So Steel, so Dzemp, you took range early. Actually, I think you had range on the Vulcan 1 turn early, and I believe it was a diversion where one of you took Ignite. Let me just double check here on the technology. All right, so here it is. So here's the difference. That's when units start to diverge. So Dzemp, you had Ignite on your Vulcans, and I believe later on Steel took Scorch. What are your thoughts behind why was Ignite a little better than Scorch in this mirror matchup, Dzemp?
I think I take Ignite because still have Vulcan monster on left side. In round 12, he has level 6 maybe, but I need kill him. With Scorch, it's a little hard. That's I take Ignite.
Okay. And why do you think Ignite was better than, let's say, a Melting Point? Because that was dropped earlier and you do currently have it unlocked. Would that not be another option?
Because I need, I don't want to make upgrades on one melting point. I need to make how much more upgrades on my marksmans.
Okay. And for Steels, I mean, this is round 6, so this is the big round. You're gonna get Dzemp down to 300 HP. What was your strategy so far? How do you like this board?
I like this board because it's so many marksmen here to just kill Vulcans. and we just need to kill Vulcans, and Dzemp will now have chaff clear after that. So that's my strategy.
Okay. And I feel like, and Dzemp, I think you're kind of on the same board here. I think both of you are just trying to kill the other players' Vulcans, because once the Vulcans,
And I have so tanky Vulcan with levels up.
and if you were to play this round again, would you do anything different?
I think I will do the same.
You do the same. Okay, so now we're getting into round 7. Let me just double check, because I see 664. I feel like round 7 is actually the round where you get down to the 300 mark. Yeah, so the...
Sorry, Stoney. Just reason why I did not win. Maybe I just need wasps in here. And so many rounds where I just did not take wasps. And wasps with shields.
Wasp with shields. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll get to that later. I think that was what we kind of, we identified at the end of the game, and there were some people in the comments as well. But what I'm really interested in is while you were in the game, right? Because later on you can think about it. It's like, oh no, I need a wasp. But while you were in the game, it's very interesting to understand, even at the highest level, how you're able to kind of pigeonhole into a single strategy and just kind of do more of the same thing because your opponent is doing exactly that. So that's what I'm interested in the for today's interview. So let's start with round 7. Let's just let the game play. I think occasionally I may have to reset the round because of the patch changing the numbers a little bit. So round 7, we see a huge amount of ability coming down. With Dzemp right now in the back foot, which means you have to win the round. If you lose the round, you lose the game, right? How were you feeling at that time? What was the thought process? What was something in your mind that says, I'm going to do this to win the round?
From round 7, this game start more stressful. And I still don't know how I win this round, but I think because Feng's pack before my Vulcan from right side.
Yeah, so had a good tower, and we still have this monster Vulcan alive from Steel. But I think the tower capture was very timely, and that allows you to really bring this Vulcan down.
I mixed.
But I think if still make wasps, I will die here.
Okay. So let's jump into round 8. So this is the first turning round for Dzemp. Steel. I mean, you're one turn away from winning. What were you thinking at the time to ensure that you actually win this round? I mean, now we know if you add some wasp, you'll win.
Another round without wasps.
Another one without wasps.
So many rounds without wasps.
Like for this round, you triple.
I don't need. I think I don't need EMP here or on marksmans. I just need wasps. Maybe I need some Vulcan or some storm colors. Maybe with fire. Maybe, but I'm not sure. I just need wasps.
Why did you take the EMP at the time? Were you just afraid of the marksman versus marksman in the end, or you just?
I took EMP for to turn off Vulcans, or to turn off Vulcans range. I thought that was a good idea, but no.
So, as a really good player, what sort of advice? Because sometimes I see myself kind of in this position, like there's a very obvious answer, but you're so deep in the game, you're just not able to see that obvious answer. What sort of advice would you give to newer players when you're in this sort of situation?
Maybe my advice is just think about another units not on board. Maybe maybe just a little time think about some new options that you can add on your board. Maybe it's new units, maybe new technologies. I did a mistake, but there is many options. We have many options in the game.
Sounds good. What about you, Zem? Like, how would you advise newer players if they're kind of stuck in this situation?
I think first what need new players is never surrender, because if we see this game, we will see we can win any game because your opponent can make mistake or you make play good. And in similar board, you need to know where is your power creep, and in round 9 on right side we will see my marksmen have more level. After this time, I know I need defense my left side, because right side will win anytime.
Any situation.
And could you explain, because for newer players, they may not understand what you mean by power creep. So
New players need to know what is your core unit in composition, and play about your core unit.
Okay. And right now, your core consists mostly just 2 units, right? You got Vulcans and you got Marksmen. I think the Stonecrawlers, they're good. I think they're mostly just for chaff clear. They're more of a support, but it's the Vulcan and the Marksman.
Now my core unit is high level marksmen, because I have more level than Steel. And no, level 5 marksman is a monster on the right side. He kill level 1 Vulcans from 3-4 shots.
Yeah, I mean, level 5, 2 shots, level 1 Vulcan, so very powerful. Okay, so you've been winning on the right-hand side, and from Steel's point of view, right, for the last 2 rounds, you have been losing on your left-hand side. So how are you defending that push on the weaker side here? Or were you defending, or were you simply saying kind of the opposite, or saying, hey, I cannot defend this side, so I'm just going to stall, slow him down, and I'm trying to win on the opposite side? What was the strategy?
I did not see that my right side is weaker than left. I just tried to get more power on right side. Try to improve my Vulcan to get more. And I didn't think about any other options here. I think just lose my right side.
Okay, so your strategy was, we can't defend on this side, but we can win on the other side. So this is interesting, right? Because now both of you are essentially doing the same strategy. You're pushing hard on one side and you're abandoning or slowing down on the other side. So round 9, it ends very similar, almost identical to round 8 and round 7. You end up with a single Vulcan, bunch of marksmen, and then the marksmen kind of shoot at each other. So I'm going to speed this up. All right, a little bit more HP. We'll get into round 10 here. I'm going to hide the Unicar. One thing that was interesting that I've noticed is because you two are doing the exact same strategy, which means you're... So for Steel, your left tower, and then, well, both of your left tower will get taken at some point in the game. And I haven't seen you leveling up the towers. Why is that? Is that a reason, or you just don't care? Because that would reduce the debuff timing, would it not?
Just because in standard we don't need to get level up tower. Maybe just because in so many times we don't lose our towers in standard, just because our opponent don't need to break tower.
And now, if we only lose money for upgrade tower, because
yeah.
marksman just one shot tower anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. And generally, so still you mentioned an important point. So when you're playing standard, their opponent don't really get to the tower. Is that something like a general rule that new players should just be aware of? Because of course, like if you're new, you don't know when to upgrade the tower. So what would be a situation you will want to upgrade your tower?
Maybe my situation where when I upgrade towers, maybe just when I play against aggro players, it can be good, but standard is just a game about armies, not about break towers. It's a fair fight.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think, Dzemp? Dzemp, did we lose you? If you're speaking, I cannot hear you. I think we might have lost Dzemp.
I'm here. Sorry.
Yeah. So what's your thought on upgrading towers in the game? In what situation would you upgrade your tower?
You need upgrading towers in defense, because if you not, you will lose 100%. But in standard, we have many long-range units. We don't need this because battle will over before tower will done.
Okay. So let's just go to round 9 again. Round 10 again. So round 10 played a little bit differently than the previous round. So I'm gonna load this up here. At this point, I mean, both of you've had 4 rounds of essentially the same game, right? Like there's very little difference in unit composition in the last 4 rounds. You just have now more of the same unit. When a player plays standard like this and you have like a very static board, is it advisable? Because earlier on you mentioned, oh, I could have gone Wasp, but in general, like, is it advisable to match your opponent's board strength by just doing the same unit that's been working, or do you want to try new units in a position like this?
Question is why I don't buy new
Yeah,
units.
why don't you buy new units? Why? And this is for both of you because you're both doing the exact same thing.
I just forgot this option.
In this round,
But
I lost all my money on Farseer's upgrade.
We got double tech on the Farseer, so you spend all your money. And it's
And in this composition, you don't need any new units, maybe only wasps, because you have best long range unit in the game. You have best clear giant in the game. You don't need new units in a long range battle.
it's a round where I can't buy wasps because we just already have on board Farseers and marksmans. It's too not early, but
all right. So we're gonna jump to.
too late. Too late. Yeah. It's just too late for wasps.
Is it late? You're saying it's late for Wasp this round?
Yeah.
I think from round 10, Farseer can be kill wasps if
Yeah.
still buy it.
Yeah, Farseer, they are pretty strong against the Wasp here. So we're still, we're of course from the when you were playing the games, and we're winning a couple rounds, but you're still one round away from losing the game. So what was your thought process now that you've stabilized a little bit? How are you thinking that you can actually win this round? Like looking at the board here, I'm going to go to round 11 here. This is a very complex board, I think. If you were to ask any player like how do you improve this board, you get like 100 different answers. But for you at that time at 129 HP, what was your thought about improving this board? What would you do?
I lost round before because I don't kill flanks on left side on steel in left corner. Under steel tower. This flanks on left side. I need clear. But in this round we get nuke, and this plan. It now is my second problem because my first problem is defense versus nuke.
All right. So you noticed there was a clear problem very late arriving, I guess, these fans, and then the marksman was spending too much time shooting at the late game chaff. And what was your response to that?
In round 12, I will buy a Vulcan in deep in my left side. But now I need defense versus nuke, and I lose my money for shields and for additional stormcallers for destroy Steel's shield.
Okay, so we got both nukes here. And a round of upgrades. Now, what about you, Steels? Like at this round? I mean, every round, you're one round away from winning. So what's your strategy? What's your thought process here? Now you got nuke, and you also got all these other abilities here, which you're going to use at the same time. What do you think can improve your board in this round?
I can't kill. I can't buy wasps, but I can. Maybe I can use mobile beacon for Vulcans and marksmans for save them. Maybe I can get more anti-missile. Maybe.
Now, speaking of anti-missile, you're the only player that's really getting them. You would like last round you get like what 5 of them in a row here, whereas Zem he's got 1 right here. So here's the question: when you should get anti-missile, and how many should you get when you're faced into a position like this? So maybe I'll start with steel. So you do put the anti-missile as a priority, at least in the previous round. Why is that?
I need more anti-missile because Dzemp have 5 Stormcallers, but for 5 Stormcallers we need 5 anti-missile.
Okay, but for Zem, I mean,
So,
steel doesn't.
to save our shields. To save our shields.
So question for Zem is that yes, Steels also has 4 Stonecallers, but you didn't get 4 anti-missiles. Why is that?
I lose one my anti-missile on left side in last round, but I have no money for this. I lose all for shields, for Stormcallers, for destroy enemy shield, for nuke. In next rounds I will buy it, but now I have no money.
All right. I think one of the reasons might be worth getting anti-missile is just because for steel, Zemp does run EM on the Stormcallers, which can potentially disable more things, whereas steel runs fire callers where the anti-missile may capture the first couple rounds, but eventually the fire will land on the ground. That's just my take on it. Whereas the EM plays a lot longer into the game than fire callers.
I take EM because I need EMP, but it's cheaper take it for storms, not for marksmen. It's
all right, so getting into round 12, you took fire on the Stormcallers, and now you're having even more Stormcallers. What's the thought process behind more Stormcallers instead of more, let's say, more chaff? I mean, I also noticed you never put flanking units on the side, but instead just opting for more Stormcallers. Could you explain why? What's the thought process for that?
if you remember, we have in left corner Fang Pak, and we need kill him. That's why I buy Stormcaller, and now I lose all my money for anti-missile.
There it is. We got 7 anti-missile coming down. Anti-missile with shield. Okay. What about flanking? Because right now, steel has been flanking and it has been stalling some of the units in the beginning.
I don't need flank because I have extended range Vulcans. I have range priority. I don't need stop his units.
All right. Now, looking from steel's point of view, this round looks pretty devastating, I think. So round 12. I think the big problem right now is that these Vulcans are just staying in a little bit too long. But another problem is that these Stonecallers actually provide cover for your marksmen. You notice that a lot of the marksman shot are landing on Stonecallers instead of the Dzemp's marksman. Now, if you were to play this round again, round 12, steel, what would you do differently? And please don't say wasps.
Maybe I can buy more anti-missile because Dzemp only have EMP on his Stormcallers but not on marksman's. That his weakness. Maybe that can help here.
Okay. Is there not possible? So the reason I keep asking about flanks is because right now it's just a very static board. We got big chunks of army at the top, big chunks of army at the bottom, and then you just run towards the middle and everything dies. Is there any creative use? Maybe mobile beacon, maybe missile devices? Probably not missile devices because both are going to have anti-missile. I'm just trying to figure out maybe is there any other way that you can play this game that will make a difference aside by just throwing more unit into the line?
I know overweight. Just I use at my last games. I started to use incendiary bomb on the on Vulcan. Maybe that can help here too. We can just fire all things, and that can help.
And what about you, Dzemp? What are some crazy strats that you might want to try aside from just putting more units on the line?
I think we can try here worms with sandstorm.
Warmer sandstorm. Yeah.
But it's hard because now first level worm can die from one shot from marksman, from stealth marksman. And in round 12 you got shields anytimes.
Yeah.
Sandstorm can be worked maybe.
Yeah. Wow.
But we can try.
Sandstorm nerfed today or yesterday. Don't remember.
Yeah, Sandstorm got nerfed a little bit. Now it only lasts 5 seconds. Ooh, there's actually around 13. It's just that the game is bugged. Hold on, let me just bring that back up. While I'm bringing that back up, so right now we're around 12. Dzemp, I know Steelsane, you know, he wanted to get Wasp and he just forgot, but Wasp is also really good for you here, right? Because Steelsane doesn't really have any anti-air or air clear. Was Wasp ever a consideration? And speaking of Sandworm, there's Sandworm for the round 13.
It will be funny, but now I have space for wasps because all time all rounds before I can be dead if I lose a round. And when I make wasps and win a round, still starting by his wasps. And after this game, starting more difficult for me, difficult to know what I can make. Now I have more range because Farseers and game is stabilized for me. Now I can buy wasps.
So that's interesting. You know the saying that when your enemy is making a mistake, don't stop them. I think that's what you're trying to do here. So your reason for not getting Wasp, even though it's good for your board, is to not remind Steels from getting Wasp. Because it would be worse for your board because when he gets them, right?
I think if I buy wasps, still buy wasps in next round, 100%. Yeah. But after I get Farseers, I build more safety. But anyway, it's a little dangerous.
No, this is good. I mean, this is what this game is about, right? Sometimes you just want to put units down, but sometimes you want to make sure your enemy doesn't put units down, so you don't want to remind them. Okay, so we're getting to the final round. Both of you took Sandworm, and you talked about it earlier, right? Sandworm, Sandstorm might be helpful, and these are level 5 Sandworms, so they're huge. Okay, final round. Both are kind of down to the wire. What are some advice to new players? Like, what are some turnaround strategies that they should definitely try in the final round? Things that could probably only work once and not again, but mostly for the final round.
My advice is is on all game. Remember about different options of other options. So my advice, just for last round too, it's best advice I think. But because Dzemp bite wasps, and that's that's his different option here.
Yeah. What about you, Zem?
I think in standard we have chaff, late chaff, and wasps with beam is super late chaff. In standard we need chaff anytime because we have long range units with amazing damage, but they have so low HP. And new standard players need to know to make chaff for any round stage any round stages
Sage, yeah. Waves.
stage, yeah.
Yeah. So last round, the Wasp, I mean, they made all the difference.
We always need chaff.
Yeah, always in the chat. But I think
Super late chaff.
for me, I always say
this
like
seven.
when in doubt, triple Wasp. Because it has won me more than a few games, especially on the final round. If my opponent goes a lot of melting point, I just triple Wasp. And that usually does okay. All right, so that's game. Sorry, Steel, it must be a little stressful watching this once again, but it's interesting for us because we're trying to figure out what happens to such a mirrored game when both player
It's
kind
not
of
stressful.
does the same thing, just more of the same thing starting from round 7, but now we get a clearer sense of how that works. Now before we wrap up this interview, I mean, well, first of all, are you both going to be in the big tourney that's coming up for the official release?
I know still have invite. I'm right.
Yeah, I have invite for tournament.
Nice.
I need to win one weekend tournament. I will try.
I will try too.
If I win, I get invite.
Well, good luck, and I'm sure that should be pretty straightforward for you, Zemp. And then one more thing before we wrap up is with so many new players kind of coming onto Mechabellum, a lot of times they'll get very confused, especially when they look at a game like this, because they can't exactly copy this game just by putting down the same units, right? The timing of the units, the upgrades of the units, they're all very confusing. What's one way that you would recommend for players to learn? So I'm not asking for like what's a best strategy or like what's the one way that you think that players can learn the best.
I think you have two ways to learn this game, Mechabellum. You can watch other games our pro player games, and you can just play, just learn game, just watch it at your army, what they doing. Maybe just learn, just play and learn and watch.
Awesome. And what about you, Dzemp?
I recommended to find your style. All players thinks about units difference. All players thinks any units strongs and any units have weaker. But if you find your style, you will be better. If will we see all pro players, they all have different styles, and if we will see game without nickname, in 90% we will see we will say who play this.
Well, that's a very good point.
It's a good advice.
Thank you. All right. Well, thank you both very much for sharing your insights into this very complex and nuanced game. And I think we're definitely going to see more of both of your games in the future. So thank you very much. Thank you for watching. If your break isn't over right this minute, you have to check out this video. I'll see you on the next one.
Prepare your tactics. Mechabellum's calling. Deploy your fortress. The battlefield's alive with swarms.